Hi, I'm Mark, and this is my wife Hillary, and this is our top 10 list of games that got us through 2020 and through various lockdowns. So we're just going to go through in no specific order, but just start at what we did or what we played throughout various lockdowns. So, number one, this is a game we discovered on Tabletopia that we played with a number of people remotely, which was Donuts for Donuts. We found it was super easy to learn. And as soon as we finished playing it online, I went and bought it.
Right away.
Right away.
It's a common problem.
And what do you do?
So we liked this game because you can play it with 6 people, which is great because a lot of good games seem to cap out around 4 or 5 people. So if you're looking for a game you can play with you and 2 other couples, this is a great one to go to. Our daughter Charlie, who I'm sure you'll meet soon enough, also loves this game, and she just turned 6 and she does just fine with it. There's not too much you have to read. Just a lot of different cards you have to see, and as long as you understand basic point systems, you do just fine. It's kind of fun because there's a secretive aspect where you have cards you're trying to decide what kind of donut you want to go after, and you have to secretly say what card you're going to want, and then flip the card, and then as long as you're the only one who's trying to claim that donut, it's all yours.
Yeah,
so
each person has a number, through 1 through 5 per se, that corresponds to the cards that are out, and you all kind of secretly pick. If 2 people pick the same one, you don't get it. If you're the only person to pick it, you get that card, and then it's just a classic set collection game of getting points based on the cards that you got. So that's Donuts for Donuts, something that we enjoyed, and lots of our family members, and like I said, our kid loves it, and it's great.
And it's a good excuse to eat donuts.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The next game that we'll show you is a game that not only got us through the lockdown, but gets us through pretty much everything. This is Lost Cities. Now, I'm sure at some point we will, dedicate a video to 2-player games. This is a 2-player game. Don't be confused with other versions of Lost Cities, which we also have 2 of those. Those are played with multiple people. This game, super easy. There's a board that comes with it. It's not really necessary. So all you need to take is the deck of cards. And there's not even that many cards. It's a pretty small deck. Anyway, lots of fun, and we've played it many times.
Hundreds of times?
Hundreds, I'm going to go with thousands.
So much that the sleeves are starting to...
That's right. We need to re-sleeve our sleeves. So that's Lost Cities.
The next game on our list that we got is Tournament at Camelot. Now, this is just a pretty standard trick-taking game with some kind of asymmetric powers. So the idea is that you play a card and then everyone has to follow suit, and then the lowest person will lose the trick. Now, each person has their own kind of special powers. You track your health when you take certain tricks. You lose health, and then, so like you said, you have powers, and then when you get to below a certain health, you get these special weapons that activate. And there's just kind of all these kind of cards, like take that, and you can play this, and you can reverse how you win. And there's just so many different powers and personalities that you can be. It's a great take on a trick-taking game, which we love, just standard deck of cards trick-taking game. This is just a lot of fun, and we've played it with not too many people because I think you need at least 3. We've tried the 2-player variant, but that doesn't really work very well. So
don't go there.
No.
And something that we like about games is when it has a unique way to do something that other games don't think of. And the way that you keep track of your points with this game is simple yet very unique to this game itself. It's also kind of fun to feel like a nerd, and the different personas you get to take on in that game are fairly nerdy.
So that's Tournament at Camelot.
Another super simple game that our daughter also likes to play with us is Point Salad. We got this around the time we got Donuts for Donuts. Point Salad is very different every time you play it, which is also a great thing. You can also play this one with 6 people, and it doesn't take very long to get through. And again, it's just cards to set up. So in this one, you're basically, you're responsible for picking if you want different fruits and vegetables or if you want different points cards. And then just depending on what you choose, it kind of changes how you're playing your round and what sort of fruits and vegetables you are collecting or not collecting, because it can hurt you to get certain vegetables depending on the scorecard you choose. So again, it's just very different each time you play it, and it's also very easy. It is point salad.
The one thing I like with this is the points cards. You can see what the vegetable is on the back, and so you know kind of what's coming up. But what's interesting is at any point, you can take a point card that you're using to score your vegetables, and if you want to convert that into a vegetable, to use that to score more points for something else and to not score that, that's a great way to get rid of some negative points or whatnot. And that's probably my favorite mechanism of the game.
Very unique.
Is converting the point card into a vegetable card, but you can't flip it back, but that's a great way to save yourself some negative points if you don't want. So, point salad.
Very true.
The next game is an expansion to probably our collective favorite game, and that is Wingspan. And this is the Wingspan Oceania expansion, which gives you yellow eggs, which are great, as well as this
completely pointless, but great.
But yellow. And then it adds in the nectar tokens, which is a new aspect to the game, as well as some new goal cards, mission cards, and of course the Oceania birds.
If you've played any of the Stonemaier games, you'll know the artwork's very important and lots of fun to look at. And so the other nice thing about this expansion, instead of the, what's the purple one?
Yes.
The purple box. The Atlantic? No. There's a purple box. European.
Yes.
It's the European birds.
Expansion.
The European expansion just gives you more birds, which is still awesome. But this one also gives you new player boards. And the artwork is nice on it because it's more of a dusk theme, so the colors all change. So it was really fun to add to our collection.
Yeah, and worth noting that I guess a lot of people, the nectar changes kind of the way the game works. It makes it a little bit easier. It's not as hard to get food. It's not as hard to do a lot of things. And so you can do a lot more things quicker, and that just makes it a bit more approachable to people that might not like the difficulty of the big engine building game that is Wingspan. It just makes it easier. But again, every bird card or every card having a unique bird on it is half the fun playing with people. They flip it over,
cool.
They see the new birds and read about it and get the little facts. It's just, well, it's a great game. It's our favorite and great expansion that we got this year.
Another game that we discovered this year is an oldie, but a goodie. And for two people that have played a lot of games, I'm not sure how we got this far in life without hearing about it. I'm showing you a deck of cards because it's all you need. This game is President. Apparently there's lots of different versions and names of what you can call it. Within the game, there's also lots of different variations of the rules, it sounds like. I think we had a lot of fights with our friends throughout the year because everybody then that we would play with would tell us they played it as a kid or they played it growing up and their family had different kind of house rules. So after playing with several groups, I think we finally have a good set of house rules that seems to work and be fair. And it's lots of fun. It's, again, a game you can play with multiple people. If you play with more than 5, then we have started to add in 2 decks of cards. Then you have enough cards to make it go longer. So I would say Google it. And then just take the house rules that you like or send us a message and we can tell you what worked for us. But that is President.
Our next game is a card game version of another game that we really like, Puerto Rico. And this is San Juan, which is, again, the card game of Puerto Rico. Now, I love Puerto Rico. We had it on our shelf for maybe a year or 2 before we got around to play it. When we did play it, we loved it. And then I found San Juan, which I think I actually like it more. It's a lot more approachable. It's quicker. It's just a great engine building game with nothing but a deck of cards, really. It's just kind of an oldie, but a goodie and a classic, and we'll play this with pretty much anyone I'd be okay with teaching this to.
That's the thing with Puerto Rico is it's more of a complex game. There's a lot more strategy to it, and you need a minimum of 3 people to play it. So we had it for a while waiting for the right person to come along that would learn it with us. Whereas the good thing with San Juan is you get a lot of the aspects and the mechanisms from Puerto Rico, but you can just play with 2, and it's still quite good with 2 people.
So, San Juan.
The next game I have, which is also by Cosmos, which again, we showed you a game earlier, Lost Cities. We have a lot of games by Cosmos and we really like them. The crew is lots of fun, and we actually have a new crew variant on order.
Pre-order the new underwater expansion. I don't know much about it.
It's not out yet, but we have signed up for it.
I just saw it and clicked pre-order.
Again, a common problem. So the crew is lots of fun. It says on the box that you need 3 players, but you actually don't. You can play with 2 people, and it gives you a way where you kind of make up a role of a third person, which was great. Jarvis, yeah.
Jarvis.
Which was great during lockdown when it was just the 2 of us. It actually allowed us to play a 3-player game.
He became a great friend of ours.
Great friend. So this one's good. It's also just a trick-taking game, but it has basically a manual that you would fill out as you go through, or like a game tracking log, where you keep track of your scores. There are 50 different missions, I believe, that you have to go through. We're on 30 some. We haven't played it in a little while now, but it's one that's super fun to pick up and easy to take anywhere. The difference with this one is while you're playing tricks, you might not want to take the tricks unless the game is asking you to. So the game will give you in each of the different 50 rounds, different cards that different players are responsible for taking. It starts off simple and then it gets more complex. So as it goes on,
gets harder and more complex. And again, it's a cooperative trick-taking game. And so you're working together to either take tricks for yourself based on what the mission cards tell you, or give tricks to other people, and so there's this whole...
Sometimes certain orders too.
You have to do it in a certain order, first or second or whatnot. But there's this whole idea of, okay, well, I have the green 8 and she needs to collect the green 8. How do I get her control that she can take that? And so we love the crew, a great cooperative trick game. Unlike Tournament at Camelot, where the 2-player variant does not work, this one works awesome. Excellent. And you can get a great game in with just 2 people. The next game is a campaign that we did during the lockdown, and that is the campaign to Scythe, which would affectionately be referred to as my all-time favorite game. We have the big neoprene mat, we have the
Wind of Gambit expansion,
the airships, we have all the expansions, and it's just the most beautiful game to put it on the table and just play.
The upgraded pieces.
All the upgraded pieces. They're beautiful. The only thing we don't have is the metal coins, which we should probably work on getting that. But The Rise of Fenris is an 8-game campaign that you play through, unlocks some new characters and whatnot. But we had a blast playing this during the lockdown and just getting through the campaign.
Who won the most games, Mark?
I don't think I won any.
Yeah, I did quite well. The nice thing about Fenris, too, is you can still use a couple of the components when the campaign is done with just the base game, and it actually gives you a way to kind of change up what you're scoring during the base game. So it adds some variation to, again, your favorite game. It's great.
The Rise of Fenris.
The last one that I'm going to pull up on the table is Racoon Tycoon. Now, Racoon Tycoon is what people are calling the new Monopoly.
Or it's at least what we've called it.
Well, we're people. And now we're online. So this is the new Monopoly. We say that because we think every family should have it in its house, and it's pretty easy to teach people. It might seem overwhelming when you first open the box because there are a lot of pieces, but the concept of the game is quite simple. One of my favorite things about games is I like when you play a game and it's very unique, or it tells you kind of a story that you wouldn't have from any other game. And so the concept of this one uses different animals and different railroads per se, and even the different things you're collecting. The resources, they're not just your standard resources. So it's kind of something new to look at. The one thing that you were worried about was that it has paper money. And we were like, ew, what game has paper money these days? But the paper money is super good quality. So that's also something way better than Monopoly.
Yeah, and it has what I might consider maybe my favorite mechanism, which would be like a resource or a market speculation. And that's something that up until really this game, Power Good was the only thing that did it for me in terms of the market and the buying and the sell and the speculating on buying resources cheap and selling them high. And this game just does that really well and streamlining, and you get to do that a lot. You're constantly buying and selling, kind of manipulating the stock market. And like we said, it should be replaced Monopoly. Everyone should get a chance to play this because it's just a great economic game of buying and selling and building up your tableau in front of you. It's just a great one.
It's Racoon Tycoon.
Racoon Tycoon. Well, that's our top 10 of games that got us through 2020 during the multiple lockdowns. Some of them are brand new. Some of them are older. Some of them are just a classic deck of cards. But just proves you don't need anything crazy fancy to have a good time or to get you through. So thanks for watching, and hope you stay tuned for the next one.